This is the Board of Health meeting, Thursday, December 7th, 6 PM in the Land Use Room. President of the meeting is Sue Braska.
Mackenzie Kane.
Tom Hibbert.
Megan Lightcap.
Okay, we have no public comment. So, the minutes, I just made the minutes from November 2nd. I made just a few little, changes, a few words. Otherwise, they were all set with me. How about you, Mackenzie?
I looked at them. I think they're great, but I wasn't there, so I don't know.
Motion? To
Yes,
accept
I will
them?
make I'll make a motion to accept. Or did you just make a motion? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I'll second that motion to accept the minutes from November 2nd. All in favor? Sue Braska,
Mackenzie.
aye.
Mackenzie Kane, yes.
Okay. So the nursery report, we don't have Tricia, we just have a hard copy.
Yep, she couldn't make it tonight.
Did you send a hard copy to Mackenzie?
Yep.
Okay, so that'll just go in our minutes.
Yep.
Now, this fats, oils, grease regulation,
Yes.
is that something Randy wrote?
Randy brought that up to me. I guess he and Tom had discussed it, probably, I think he said in 2019.
Excuse me,
So
Randy who?
Randy Brown,
Randy.
Okay.
DPW, yeah. So it's something that, he was hoping that we could get in place for the town. And I wasn't sure if it ever came to the board in the past or what the status was.
I want to ask Tom if he remembers this and what Tom's opinion was about this.
Okay,
I mean, it's a very good regulation. I mean, he
Yeah.
covered everything's very, very good, but, what does Title V say about grease traps?
well, if they're on septic, then a grease trap would be required. So this would be
This they're talking about.
on
sewer.
public sewer,
So
right?
we don't deal with sewer.
But we deal with the restaurants.
but
That's
we
kind of
We deal with grease traps.
yeah.
Do we know how many establishments are connected to
Would-
the sewer?
No, we'd have to get this. Randy and I met briefly last week and he just kind of let me know he was hoping to get the process started back up. So, I haven't thoroughly gone through it myself. We did have a fog regulation in Westfield. I know a lot of boards of health, do have them throughout the state. But Randy said he'd be willing to come out, to our next meeting or, to talk about it, because it would be a Board of Health regulation, but there would definitely be some involvement from DPW and
So like small commercial discharge authorization, who issues that? Doesn't say it in here. Who issues that? Inspection shall be performed by the grease trap inspector that
yeah,
is licensed by the Board of Health.
Yeah.
We don't have such a.
yeah, I think that was one thing he and I had talked about. It could be someone that, I think in the past, I think DPW has hired someone to go through and look at all the grease traps. I think too, they would need to be, if the restaurant doesn't get their grease trap cleaned, and pumped the minimum of every 6 months, then that's when that would trigger so we wouldn't do routine inspections unless someone wasn't documenting that they were taking
I
care
don't
of
think people are pumping every 6 months. That's really cost prohibitive for some places.
some of them can get away with every 6 months. Some of them should probably be pumping every 2 or 3 months,
Oh, wow.
depending on how much grease they produce. I know a lot of this stuff, they should be doing anyway. As far as getting it pumped and cleaning out the passive grease traps inside the restaurant. Cause if they don't do it, they're gonna have a backup into the restaurant and it can even cause backups on the street. So if there's, residences, it can
Okay,
cause issues for
so
them.
then it's talking about, all right, so it's under us, but then it's saying that Southwick Plumbing Inspector, Public Works, Board of Health can all inspect.
Yep,
Inspect meaning that they're gonna be the grease trap interceptor inspector?
I don't know if they would meet that definition, but they would be allowed to. A restaurant wouldn't be able to deny them access if they needed to look at it. It's kind of
But
a,
if these are our regulations, we have to know what's going on.
right,
And then this maintenance log, like who's gonna provide the maintenance log and,
yeah, and I wanna check too, and, I don't know if Randy wrote this up entirely himself, or, I know there's a few other models out there. But I would definitely wanna talk to a few other towns that have a
Yes,
similar
yes.
reg. So this is, like I said, this is just kind of the very early stages, just to kind of see what you guys thought of it, if you were interested. Want to keep looking at it or
and this is
not.
any grease trap, whether sewer or non-sewer.
Only sewer. I think that anyone that's on septic would have to meet Title V requirements, and that there's similar stuff in there for Title V. And if they're on septic, they have a much greater interest in taking care of the grease, because they'd be on the hook to replace their septic system when it fails. We have a
Then,
restaurant on septic that's on
so
their
other
fourth.
towns, you think, have regulations like this under the Board of Health or under?
Yeah,
Like, shouldn't this be like a bylaw for the sewer
could.
committee?
there are some towns, I believe, have it as a bylaw. I know there's a lot of towns that have it as a Board of Health regulation.
Now, Mackenzie, did you get time to look at this? These regulations, because we just got them, what, yesterday?
Yeah,
I don't know if you had time.
yeah,
Yeah, I look at them, but I don't necessarily conceptualize all of what it means. So I will
Yeah.
refer to Tom's professional judgment on this to
Okay.
guide decision making.
okay,
I'm not well enough versed to be on one side or the other, I'll be honest with you.
okay. All right, so, I think that in the meantime, I'll try to talk to some other boards of health and see what they have. And then if you guys want, we can invite Randy to our next meeting. And he can kind of make the case for why he thinks that.
Well,
We should-
I know in the past he had come to the meetings to talk about us having more oversight, but I can't remember what the board opinions were.
At the time,
Unless you
yeah,
go back in the minutes, and I don't know when that would be.
okay,
So I just want to ask like Tom Fitzgerald if he remembers what the opinion of the board was at that time.
okay. Okay, I can check with him too.
Yeah. But yeah, Randy did a really good job. He was really
Okay.
good.
Do you want me to invite Randy to our next meeting,
Um,
or do a little more research first and
we'll
then,
do some research
okay.
first. We haven't had him now for how many years?
right,
So another few months isn't gonna,
okay, so I'll check with Tom and some other towns, and I will report back, next month.
okay, this, December 7th.
Fee schedule, I forgot to take that off from the last
Okay,
one.
so that's gone, okay. Renewals update. What do you have, Megan?
Chair.
Yeah,
Oh, did I give you that? I wrote it down. Hold on. Nope.
okay,
And Megan, Mackenzie, we're gonna be going into an executive session to discuss, an issue. I just want to give you a heads up.
Okay. So will you re-invite me, or because it won't be
No,
in this Zoom?
I
Or-
think there's no one here, so I think all
Okay.
I'll have to do is just pause the recording,
Okay,
and
all right.
we'll just be able to keep going.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure whether it had to be posted on the agenda or what had to happen, but Tom's reading the regulations and he said,
Yeah, we just need to announce it, vote on it, do a roll call vote.
once we go back into, we do the vote once we go back into the normal session.
No, we vote, you
To
would
go
vote to
into
go
it.
into executive session.
And then
You
we
have
stop
to
the
state, you have
recording.
to state whether or not we're gonna continue open session after the executive session is over. And we just have to keep records via
So McKinsey has to keep-
Megan's notes.
Megan has to keep a separate
Yeah,
minutes for this.
I think it could go in the same minutes.
No, we
No,
have
oh.
special,
Okay,
because executive session minutes don't get dispersed, I think, until the issue is,
okay,
I believe.
yeah, we can look into that.
And, Mackenzie, you know that Christine Southworth, our part-time nurse, took a full-time job in East Hampton. So we were short a nurse, but, we interviewed for the PHE, the grant people interviewed somebody on what day was it?
Tuesday,
Tuesday.
yeah,
We had one applicant. He's excellent.
Oh, great. Lovely.
So that PHE grant people.
we'll meet, we have a meeting on Tuesday, so
yeah, and they'll-
hopefully,
And they'll vote on her.
yeah,
Okay. That's lovely.
And Tricia
Yeah.
knows her. Tricia's already worked with her in Tallinn.
Oh, nice.
Read my chicken scratch, or do you want me to?
Okay, so what do we?
so these are ones that are fully renewed already?
They're,
You can
most
read.
of them are fully done. A lot of them,
Okay.
like, I'm waiting for you to sign back on, but
Okay.
everything has come back from the clerk's office. We ran into a lot of issues with, not issues, but it's like tax season payment, quarterly payment and water bill payment time. So everything is coinciding with that. So every time I send it to the clerks, I would say 2 out of 5, she comes back and says they gotta pay their water bill or they've gotta pay their this. So that's been kind of like, we've had a good, like, what,
Yeah,
8 of them so
I
far?
think so.
You know, so we have 1 tanning just came back. I'm sorry, yeah, 1 tan, 3 catering, 11 retail.
Do we have caterers in town? Were there 3 on that list?
I think so.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, one of them does the charcuterie at Tucker's. Tucker's also has a catering business, and then there was one more. Oh, the launch does catering. 22,
How about Della Terra?
theirs is a food service, right?
Yeah,
I haven't
there's food
gotten them
service.
back.
Okay,
1 body art. And then most of the tobacco is 11 tobacco. I would say pretty much everybody but Saunders has come back and has been processed.
Perfect.
So that's the bulk of,
Yeah,
so for the restaurants, have they been submitting their certificates too?
Mhm.
for-
Yep.
yep, yeah, I don't take anything until they give me that stuff.
How about patisseria?
I have not
Not yet.
heard back from them yet.
not yet. They were late last year.
And the year
Were they?
before?
Yeah.
The year
Okay.
before.
Yeah,
And maybe the year before that too.
Wow.
Yeah.
One of the Chinese food places, the landlord had to pay taxes or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
kinda, but I feel bad because it's like, it's that time, they're maybe a week overdue if they haven't paid them. So it's really like on the border of, sorry, we can't accept this, but you gotta pay this.
yeah,
But everyone's been really good about getting them in. So that's been good.
All right, and so you'll have a list at the end who didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
need- Okay,
I'll print off each of those, the checklist,
checklist.
because I've been keeping track on that too. I'll
perfect,
just give you a copy of that, so you have it.
okay,
perfect.
all right, good. It must be those new renewal letters.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so now anything else on that? No?
No,
Okay.
I think that's it. They've been coming in pretty good and
Yeah,
we're still pretty early in December, so hopefully we won't have too many stragglers after the first of the year.
Okay, so now your report.
Yep, so septic slowed down a little bit, but still trucking along, issued the COC for 40 Woodside. I think I had already reported inspecting that one, last month. 58 Hastings, that was a repair, did the final
Is
inspection.
that the house that was kind of vacant, that big greenhouse that was vacant?
No, that's 61, I think. They did a perk at that one. But 58 is a little further back and on the other side,
Okay.
so it's like a ranch, raised ranch house. That was they had a lot of groundwater. So that was
Kinda
a,
wet.
yeah, that was a
House.
tough one.
Yeah,
59 College Highway, that is the those apartments
Mhm.
down there. And I had mentioned, we kind of did a series of inspections because the way it was limited with it, he had to dig like a 10-foot width of the field, put it in,
yeah. and then-
fill it, and then dig the next section. So he was in progress. It took him a few weeks to do the whole thing.
Who put it in?
Connor Fleury, he's
Okay.
fairly newer. He's a young guy. But yeah, so it took him a while, but he finally finished it up. So that went well, I guess, as well as it could. Couple repair perks at 110 Summer and 173 College Highway. Did a final inspection over at 5 Pine Knoll. And actually yesterday issued the COC for that too. 55 Foster, that is new, that's raw land, did a perk test there. Gargan Terrace was a repair perk, 72 Granville Road, it was a repair
I don't know
perk.
what number, Garden Terrace?
I think it was 3. Thought I fixed that before I sent the minutes down, but I guess not. 72 Granville Road, that was a repair perk, and on the Greens East, one of the lots that had already been perked, but they didn't like the perk location on the lot with where they were putting the house, so they did another perk over there. And that, I believe, is the lot numbers are super confusing, but I'm pretty sure it's lot 13 and number 12 Silvergrass Lane.
So lot 13 is gonna be number 12, okay.
Yeah, so the housing issue for this, I previously mentioned, I think we should go into executive session, just because it kind of touches upon mental health and some other issues. So I did the research. We can go into executive session to discuss the reputation, character, physical condition, or mental health, rather than professional competence of an individual, to discuss the discipline, dismissal of complaints or charges brought against public officer, employee, staff member, or individual. In this case, it would be an individual.
Right, so we need to
So the steps,
we need to vote to go into executive session.
so first I'll just read the steps. So I have the summary of the open meeting law from Mass Association of Boards of Health. And the first step, we are already convened in open session. A majority of members of the body have voted to go into executive session, and the vote of each member is recorded by roll call and entered into the minutes.
And the reason we're going, so.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, and I can make a motion.
Yep,
So I'm gonna make a motion to go into executive session to discuss a mental health issue at 18 Bungalow Street,
80.
at 80 Bungalow Street.
Yep.
Do I need to add anything more? And then we will come out of executive session.
Yep,
We'll vote to come out of executive session and reconvene in open session. And if any voting has to take place, it'll take place in open session.
yep.
Do I get a second?
I will second that.
Okay, so all in favor,
Mackenzie Kane,
But it
yes.
has to be a roll call. Yeah, so yeah,
Sue Broska, yes.
okay, perfect.
Okay, so then we're gonna stop recording.
Yep. So, and Megan, we're gonna stop recording, so just make sure to take the
Yeah.
notes for this.
Yeah, and this will be a
Resume the recording. We just finished our executive session to discuss the status of the housing case at 80 Bungalow Street. And moving on,
to food service.
service.
Sections.
haven't done any this week, but the inspection software is up and running. So
We get trained on it,
no, not trained, but I'm gonna just start using it hopefully next week and
figure it out.
just start figuring it out a little bit for myself. So
Now you have it. Do the other towns have it?
no, I don't know if it was an error. I was under the impression every town had to send in all their paperwork before they activated us. But I sent in our paperwork right away and they sent me the link to activate it. So we gave them all of our iPads and they were gonna program them. So they still have our iPads. But I already have a work iPad. So they sent me everything I needed. I was able to set up the software on that. So I'll start testing it out and
Did we already pay them?
no, not yet. We have an open PO, but they haven't sent us the invoice yet. So I think they're waiting for the other
For the other
towns.
towns, okay.
So,
And we'll discuss that at the next meeting.
yeah, and I just sent out a reminder to all the other towns that, send in your stuff. So that kind of goes into the next thing, the grant update. So that's the one thing, the inspection software. The intermunicipal agreement, I think all but I think we have 3 towns have said we're good, we'll sign it,
Counting us.
counting us. 2 towns, I was told they are gonna discuss it at their select board meetings this week. And 1 town I am less sure about. But I did email, it was Tolland, I did email. I think they had a misconception about it just being a nursing grant and none of the other stuff applies to us, so trying to get that squared away, but so I think we're getting close with the IMA. And the public health nurse, we just did an interview, so hopefully we'll be able to vote to offer the position and then have to do all the pre-appointment screening and all that, but if all goes well, hopefully the candidate could start in the early January.
I saw Dr. Wong
Oh, great.
and I had told him about Chris leaving and
Yeah,
they're gonna hire somebody else and that, you had suggested a little meet and greet.
Yeah.
That he could, if he has time.
right. Cool. And then the body art regulation clarification, so this was an interesting one this month. I kind of went back and forth, or I guess last month. There's a new prospective body art establishment that wants to operate out of Salon Sage on College Highway, right past the Notch. And I went and looked at the room. It's currently a massage room. It's just a small room and there's no hand sink in it, which is the issue, but it's gonna traditional body at regular tattoos, not the permanent makeup or any of that. So it's the body art practitioner would be opening a body art establishment, but renting that room from it'd be located within the existing salon. So she had asked about hand sink. So the regulations require a hand sink with hot and cold water and under pressure. It doesn't specifically say if it has to be permanently plumbed in or if they can use a portable hand sink. So she had asked about doing a portable. as well as, even a portable with only cold water. Because she said there's a hand sink in the salon, but you'd have to go out of the room where she would be practicing, doing the body art, and then through like a waiting area and into another room to where the hand sink is. So I said, that's not accessible. You really should have something in the room that you're
How much
working.
water usage do they use?
The portables,
No, for body art.
oh,
Can we, the body art? We have how many establishments in town?
just one, the microblading, and they have a hand sink.
And they have town water,
Yeah,
so you can see how much water they use?
yeah.
Is that something you could do?
Actually, I don't know, cause that might be for they're in
The whole
that
thing?
professional center, so
Maybe the whole thing?
it might be for the whole building, but, if they're washing their hands as often, like universal precautions, every time they put on and take off their gloves, they should be washing, and those portables are usually a 5-gallon tank, so. And if it has to be under pressure, so I think it's like at least like 2 gallons a minute, so
And it can be hot, I think there's.
they make them hot and cold, but.
So where does it drain into?
So it would have a supply tank and then a waste tank, so, but in the end, I checked with West Springfield, they have the same regs as us. And they say we only allow portables they have like, body art shows at the Big E. So they only allow portables if it's like a temporary sort of thing. Because if you're washing as frequently as you should, you're gonna fill up your waste tank, and then what are you gonna do?
And then where are they gonna go fill it, and where are they gonna dump the waste?
Right, and then I checked with, daughter in the background. I checked with the building inspector and the plumbing inspector, and those portable hand sinks aren't approved. Are not approved.
Okay.
So I had gone back and forth with this woman a ton, and then ultimately, in the end of the day, we said it's not up to the plumbing code, so if you want to have
You know,
an establishment here, you need to plumb in
Sink.
a permanent
Okay.
sink, so.
All right,
So I would, now I know, so I guess it doesn't matter. But if we ever do update our body art regs again, it might be worth, just for the sake of clarity for anyone reading them. Portable hand sinks do not meet,
well, it'll be the same for
Requirements.
food establishment too, right?
right,
Yeah,
right.
okay,
And we would never allow it in a food establishment. Sometimes for the temporary, when they set up at the motocross or whatever, they have those sort of things, but not for
yeah, permanent.
a permanent restaurant, so.
Okay, well, takes care of that.
So yeah, and then meetings, we already talked about the PHE meeting, and we have another one coming up next week. Safety committee, so that's, I think I've mentioned before that I think when my position was made full-time, they added the OSHA stuff to my position, so I've been, we started up the safety committee again, so that's like a lot of the department heads and our, coordinator from the insurance company, Maya, came out to help, and so that's just kind of getting started. And then I've done I had an OSHA training this morning and another one last week, so, still just kind of figuring out what we're supposed to even be doing for that stuff, but, it's kind of not conventionally in the health director job, but,
You can get all the
Just sample.
SDSs, right?
yeah, all the SDSs
And
and,
have those put online?
yeah,
So is it just for the town hall? It's not for the schools, right? It's just. for-
no, not the schools, but, town hall, DPW, police and fire.
So they all need to submit SDSs to you, right? So you can put it all together?
Yeah, so
And do
I
a-
haven't
do
even
a
touched,
camera-
I haven't even touched the SDSs yet.
Yeah, do a chemical inventory?
Yeah, that and then injury that was my class today, was all about the injury reporting. And we have to keep a log, and I don't think the town's done that. I think the town has kept a log of when there's employee injuries, but not necessarily filling out the
That wouldn't
OSHA.
be human resources.
Yeah, I think they have it, but I don't think they've necessarily done the OSHA side of it. So we can get the records we need to do that, but it's just a whole.
What do you
I
want-
mean,
you
and
wanna-
it's new to, municipalities didn't have to abide by OSHA. I think it was 2019 that the state passed that, so it's fairly new. Because then everyone was distracted with COVID for,
So that's what you'll be doing when you have to do the coordinator job.
right, so,
So forget about the inspections. huh?
yeah. So, but other than that,
Any unanticipated things in the past 48 hours?
I don't think so.
No? Anything, Megan? No?
No.
Do you have anything to add, Mackenzie?
No, thank you.
No? So does that conclude our meeting?
I think so.
Wow,
I think so.
so,
And our next meeting scheduled for January 4th. Is that good, or I think we're past the holiday at
Yes,
that point?
past the
That
holiday.
should be good.
yeah. So you wanna make a motion to adjourn? It's 7:45.
I will make a motion to adjourn at 6:45.
Oh, 6:45,
Yeah.
yes. I second that. All in favor?
Mackenzie Kane, yes.
Dubraska, yes. And everyone have a nice Christmas,
Yes.
Thank you. You too.
and we'll talk to you later. Thank you.
All
Thanks
right.
for joining.
Bye.
See you, Mackenzie.
Okay, bye.
See ya.
Bye-bye.